After a successful three-game series of games to start the season, the Hamilton Southeastern Royals got a few well-deserved days off, and they're back out on the court tonight as they return home to face the Mount Vernon Marauders here on Audio Sports Online. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Royals basketball on ASO. My name's Brian Scott. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. Tonight, Brian Satterfield's club comes in. They are ranked number 7 in Class 4A. And later on tonight, they will be taking on, they're ranked number 6 in Class 4A. They're going to be taking on the 7th ranked in Class 3A, Mount Vernon Marauders, right here on Audio Sports Online. But before we have varsity action tonight, we're going to have a little bit of JV action as Coach Calvin Bembry's squad will be out here tonight as he will be taking on Kyle Nicholson's JV Marauders here on Audio Sports Online. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups for this junior varsity contest. First off, for the Mount Vernon Marauders, playing guard, a 5'8" sophomore, Kyle Forsyth. The other guard will be a 5'9" freshman, Miles Ware. At forward is a 6-foot freshman, Michael Thompson. The other forward is a 6'2" freshman, Matt Hayes. And at center as a 6'3" sophomore, James Stricker. So in the backcourt once again for the Marauders, it'll be Forsyth and Ware. And up front, Hayes, Thompson, and Stricker. Those are the starting 5 for head coach Kyle Nicholson's JV Marauders. For head coach Calvin Bembry's junior varsity team, starting at a guard, is a 5'11" junior, Max Hankins. The other guard is also a 5'11" junior, Mason Hankins. Starting at a small forward is a 6'3" junior, Grant Leach. At power forward, a 6'5" sophomore, Josiah Johnson. And at center, a 6'6" junior, Jack Kramer. So once again in the backcourt, both Max and Mason Hankins. And up front, it'll be Leach, Johnson, and Kramer. Those are the starting 5 for head coach Calvin Bembry's JV Hamilton Southeastern Royals. It's been since last Saturday that the boys' teams have been in action, capping off a big weekend series in which they went 3-0, included some really, really tough games out on the road. First off was that Friday night game at the Bowman Academy that Coach Satterfield's team won by just 2 points. In the JV game, Coach Bembry's team came away the winner in that one. And then, of course, Lake Central was the Saturday matinee in which Hamilton Southeastern came away the victor in the varsity game. And we'll tell you more about that when we get ready for varsity action here on Audio Sports Online. I want to thank you for joining us. Again, my name's Brian Scott. We'll have a full day of basketball on tap for you tomorrow. As first off, it'll start right here back at Hamilton Southeastern. The girls will be in action. JV game will begin at 1 o'clock. Varsity game at 2:30 as they welcome HCC rival, the Harrison Raiders, here to Hamilton Southeastern. And then we'll pack it up, hit the road, as Coach Satterfield will finish the day as the Royals will take on Pendleton Heights. That's all tomorrow coming up here on Audio Sports Online. We'll have a couple of people broadcasting it for you. I will unfortunately not be able to bring you that action myself, but I'll be back with you next week right here on Audio Sports Online. Teams currently being introduced as we speak. Again, it's been only one home game so far for Southeastern. As far as the boys go, that opened up the season last Tuesday night when they knocked off Fishers by 20 points. And since then, the boys' team's been on the road. So really the first week of action, both on the boys and girls side, both teams in action as we get fully into the high school basketball season. Players shaking hands at midcourt as Jack Kramer's ready to jump this one up and looks like he's going to go against Michael Thompson. Royals are in the white, Marauders are in the black. I hope you enjoy another evening of Royals basketball here on Audio Sports Online. The preliminaries are done. We're about ready to throw this ball up into the air. As Kramer and Thompson are at center, Kramer has the tip, and the Royals control the basketball to begin this contest as they are moving right to left as Max Hankins has the basketball, looking over a man-to-man, and He was expecting Kramer to do a back cut. Kramer was coming up to set a screen and was not expecting the pass. It goes out of bounds, and turnover gives it to the Marauders, and they will be welcomed by a Royal full-court press. Mount Vernon gets it into the front court. Now they lose it. Kramer outlets to Leach. Leach underneath, lays it off glass. No good. Johnson is blocked from behind by James Stroker. Leach will pick up the loose ball and hit the three from the left wing, or the left corner, I should say, and it's a 3-0 Royal lead. Back to the press goes the Royals, and a steal by Johnson. Josiah will take it, lay it off to Mason Hankins. Mason will give it back to Max. Max's three is no good, and the rebound's controlled by Michael Thompson. He will hand it off to Kyle Forsyth, and this time the Royals will set up their half-court defense. At the elbow was a nice look by Miles Weyer as he was trying to get it to James Stricker, excuse me. But the ball goes out of bounds off of the Royals, and the Marauders retain possession. 3-0 Southeastern, and a steal on the inbounds by Mason Hankins. Mason with a basketball, goes left side. This is Johnson from about 14 feet. His shot no good, and the rebound is controlled by Miles Weyer of Mount Vernon. 3-0 Southeastern, 4:40 left to go in this opening quarter of play. Junior varsity game here at Hamilton Southeastern. He's dribbling with the basketball. That's Matt Hayes. Looks to get it over to Miles Weyer. Weyer looks at a three. Now they find all alone underneath and blocked from behind by Grant Leach, as James Stricker thought he was going to have an easy layup off of the glass, and Leach comes from behind to block it out of bounds. Marauders still have the basketball. Here's a kick out. It's a two, as with a foot on the line was Matt Hayes, and the Marauders are on the board. They trail by the score of 3-2. 4:10 left to go, opening quarter of play. Royals with a 1-point lead. As Max with the basketball goes right side. Grant Leach, little move, dipsy-do, up off the glass and in. Grant Leach has all 5 of the Royals' points, as Southeastern leads by 3 with 3:51 left to go, opening quarter. And as the Royals pin Kyle Forsyth along the sidelines, Forsyth steps out of bounds, and the ball will go back to the Royals, leading by 3 with 3:47 left to go in this first quarter of play. Mason with the basketball, left side, this is Leach. Grant gets a screen from Johnson, step backs, shoots about the 16-foot jumper. It goes off the side of the rim and out of bounds, and the ball will go back to Mount Vernon. Marauders trail by 3. 3:32 left to go in this first quarter, as Forsyth gets it into the front court. And he is guarded, and we're going to have our first foul of this game called, and it'll go against Southeastern's Grant Leach. That's his first, team first, and taking it out of bounds from the sideline is Miles Weyer. He'll throw it into Forsyth. Forsyth back to Weyer here in the front court. Slips the double team and now travels. He had an idea, wanted to go right side and get the ball into the hands of Michael Thompson, but instead he drug his foot, and the turnover gives the ball back to Southeastern. A 5-2 Hamilton Southeastern lead, 3:13 left to go in this opening quarter of play. Leach, step back three from the right wing is no good, and grabbing the rebound is Weyer for Mount Vernon, and he will bring it into the front court. Weyer, left side, finds Hayes. Back to Weyer. They switch it around to Thompson. Thompson underneath, and he finds a cutting Matt Hayes. Hayes' shot is no good, and Southeastern has the loose ball. Mason with the basketball. Leaves it off to Max. Long-range three on its way. That's too strong. Ball still loose, and it'll be tipped out of bounds off of James Stricker. Substitutions as coming in is Dominique Hall and also Tim Ford. This is the first time we've seen Tim, as sitting down to be Mason Hankins and Grant Leach. At 5-2, Royals lead on the inbound pass. Dominique can't get the shot to drop, And coming down with the basketball is Miles Ware from Mount Vernon. He will bring it into the front court. He'll go left side. 3-ball on its way is up, and it is good by Matt Hayes. Hayes 3 ties it at 5 with 2:16 left to go in this opening quarter. Here is Tim Ford. Again, first time we've seen him in action this year. And he will get the ball from Johnson down low, but he is triple teamed and stripped. And Mount Vernon has the basketball, looking to go up for the first time in this contest. 1:52 left to go first quarter and a 5-all game. This is Hayes with the basketball, right wing guarded by Ford. Looks down to Stricker, but instead moves it around. Now they find Stricker in the low block. His shot is no good. Good defense there. Getting a hand in his face was Jack Kramer. And Southeastern comes away with the basketball. Ford with it, right side. And now he will dribble and move to his right. He leaves it off to Hall. Now to the hands of Max Hankins to Kramer. Back to Johnson from the left elbow. His shot is up, too strong. Kramer tries to save it, but instead he has a foot on the end line. And the turnover will give the ball back to the Mount Vernon Marauders. We are tied at 5 with 1:14 left to go. Junior varsity game between Hamilton Southeastern and the Marauders of Mount Vernon. Crossing over and getting into the front court is Forsythe as he moves it around to Michael Thompson. Thompson back to Forsythe. This is Ware with the basketball. They'll kick it out once again. This time Hayes with a foot on the line. His shot is no good, and here comes Hamilton Southeastern driving. Josiah Johnson, and took about one extra step as he was looking maybe to drive baseline as he got down low, but instead turnover gives it back to Mount Vernon. James Stricker is going to take a seat, and Zach McKinney is now in for Kyle Nicholson's Marauders. As we are under 40 seconds left to go in this first quarter, and we are tied at 5. And as they try to get the ball into the hands of McKinney, it goes off of his fingertips and out of bounds. So Southeastern will have the ball. Looking to see if they can take a lead here before we head to the second quarter. Max Hankins drives, leaves it forward. Tim to Dominique. Dominique down low to Kramer, over to Johnson, and Johnson will finish it off. Jack had an easy, all he had to do was spin toward the basket and an easy layup, but he hands it off to Josiah, and Josiah finishes the play. So Southeastern with a 2-point lead, 9 seconds left to go first quarter, and a whistle stop play as Kyle Forsythe drives right side. And the foul's going to go against Josiah Johnson of the Royals. That's his first team foul number 2. 7 seconds remain in this opening quarter. Forsythe to inbound from the baseline. He gets the ball into the hands of Hayes. His shot 3 is no good. Johnson with a rebound to Max Hankins. Three-quarter shot is off of the backboard, and that's how the first quarter ends as Hamilton Southeastern has a 2-point lead in the junior varsity game. They lead Mount Vernon 7-5. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you at Hamilton Southeastern High School. We are in the junior varsity game, and the Royals lead the Marauders by the score of 7-5. Grant Leach, 5 points for Southeastern. Josiah Johnson with a bucket. And Matt Hayes has all 5 points for the Marauders as he hit a 3 and one just inside the arc for the Marauders, 5 points. So we're getting ready to start second quarter action here from Hamilton Southeastern. And to begin this second quarter, we're going to see Tyler Janney, Grant Leach, Mason Hankins, Chris Ford, and Brendan Burns on the court for Southeastern. For the Marauders, It'll be Miles Ware, Kyle Forsyth, Caleb Decker, Brayton Smith, and Zach McKinney as the Marauders have the ball to begin quarter number 2. Driving is Ware. He throws up the shot. It's no good. Tapped out of bounds. They'll say it went off of Brayton Smith of the Marauders, and Southeastern will have the basketball. A 2-point lead for the Royals, 7-5, just underway. Second quarter action here at Hamilton Southeastern. Brian Scott with you tonight on Audio Sports Online as Royals get it right side to Chris Ford. Grant Leach. Had the basketball. He gives it to Mason Hankins, back to Leach. Leach tried to make a move. Double team came. Here's Mason. Drives the right side of the lane. Tries a little scoop shot layup. It's no good, but he's going to head to the free throw line as he was fouled. It will go against Miles Ware, the Marauders. That's his first. It's also the team's first. And Mason Hankins is at the line to shoot 2. And he hits the first of 2. One more free throw coming for Mason. Second free throw is also good, and the Royals increase their lead to 4. 9-5 as once again, here comes full court pressure. Smith to Decker. Decker looking to get in the front court and traveled. Kind of stutter stepped. Didn't know whether he wanted to kick it back over to Smith in the back court or try to push it into the front court, and instead he ends up turning the basketball over to Southeastern. So the Royals now have the basketball. Tyler Janney, left side, Burns, 3 from the wing, hits off of the flange. Loose ball finally controlled again by Southeastern. Here's Grant Leach. Leaves it to Burns, over to Ford, or Ford drives the lane, and they will wave off the shot, saying the foul occurred before the shot on the floor. And I believe it's going to go against Miles Ware, and that will be his second. Royals will take it out, and now we are going to have a timeout called, and I believe it's going to be by Kyle Nicholson of the Mount Vernon Marauders with 4:57 left to go in this first half. Southeastern with a 9-5 lead. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Varsity game to follow tonight, 7:30, as the 3-0 and ranked number 6 in Class 4A. Hamilton Southeastern Royals will take on the 1-0 and ranked number 7 in Class 3A, Mount Vernon Marauders. And as I mentioned earlier, a full day of basketball, of Royals basketball here on ASO tomorrow. Girls in the afternoon, boys in the evening. So just keep it tuned to ASO all day long. Same lineups out of the timeout with Grant Leach looking to inbound from the baseline. Looks to get it in, still looks, and close to a 5 seconds. Instead, he tries to get it to Brendan Burns. It'll be knocked out by Brayton Smith, so Southeastern will retain possession. Grant once again looking to get it in. This time he does find Burns. Burns, little shot fake, puts it up. It's short. Loose ball finally controlled by Mount Vernon. Marauders with the basketball now with trailing by 4 with 4:41 left to go. And now here's a steal as Chris Ford will race it up, tries to stuff it down, but can't. It won't go down. Tyler Janney steals the basketball, gives it to Mason Hankins, back to Janney. 3-ball on the way is up and good. Well, Chris Ford tried to flush it down. It rimmed out, but fortunately for the Royals, they were able to pick up the basketball. Now here's an outlet pass to Miles Ware, and Ware has his first basket. 12-7, a 5-point lead for Hamilton Southeastern. Driving right down the lane, but not getting the shot to fall was Tyler Janney. Had an easy drive just down the middle, and now once again they will find Ware, and Ware jumped up in the air, thought he was going to be able to save it in, but instead it goes out of bounds. Wholesale substitutions now for the Marauders, and before we do that, Coach Calvin Bembry is going to call a 30-second timeout. 3:52 left to go in this first half. Hamilton Southeastern leads Mount Vernon by the score of 12-7. This is Southeastern basketball on AudioSportsOnline.com. Don't forget, if you've missed any of the Royals action all season long here on ASO, all you got to do is go to AudioSportsOnline.com, click on the Hamilton Southeastern link, and you will have an on-demand podcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, all totally free on Audio Sports Online. Also, all of our video casts, like tonight's game, is also available via our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, look for Audio Sports Online, and we will have all those games right there on YouTube. You can share them on Facebook, with Twitter, email them to friends and family, all courtesy of Audio Sports Online. Chris Ford, 16-footer is up and good. First bucket for Chris, and the lead 7 points for Southeastern as the Marauders push it up. And they have pretty much most of their starting lineup currently in the ball game. Matter of fact, they have pretty much all of them right now. So that's Forsyth, Hayes, Thompson, Ware, and Stricker. And a correction, instead of Ways, they've got Seth Christensen. And Forsyth will have his first bucket to trim it to a 5-point Southeastern advantage. 3 minutes, 7 seconds left to go first half. Chris Ford left all alone. That one goes halfway down, comes back out. And Mount Vernon will go the other way. And now it's picking and pocket was Grant Leach. He outlets to Tyler Janney. Janney will lay it off the glass. No good, but trailing behind and making the nice putback is Chris Ford. Ford now has 4 points, a 7-point lead once again for the Royals. 2:39 left to go in quarter number 2. Forsyth with the basketball. He will send it out to Christensen. Christensen guarded by Chris Ford. And he gets it into the hands of Matt Hayes. And once again, as Hayes gets the basketball, Grant Leach trying to pick his pocket. This time Grant's going to be called for the foul. That is his second 13 foul against Southeastern. As we have a brief timeout as Chris Ford tying his shoelace, and now we're about ready for action once again. Looking to get the ball in and not able to do so. A 5-second call as Matt Hayes could not find anybody to inbound the basketball to, and he'll be called for 5 seconds, and gives the ball right back to Hamilton Southeastern. Royals lead 16-9. Here's Burns, leaves it to Janney. Janney to Mason Hankins, right side. This is Chris Ford in the lane, lays it off the glass, doesn't get the bucket, but Chris is going to earn a trip to the charity stripe. Michael Thompson will be charged with his first personal foul. It's the third team foul against Mount Vernon. And Chris Ford's at the line to shoot a pair. Misses the first of 2. Substitutions as Miles Ware returns and Zach McKinney comes in. They'll replace Kyle Forsyth and Matt Hayes. Chris at the line, one more free throw. He hits the second of 2. He has 5 points. That ties him for team high with Grant Leach. And the Royals lead 17-9. Good defense. Tyler Janney strips, gives it to Mason Hankins. Hankins lays it up off the glass and in. And that's going to cause a timeout to be called by Kyle Nicholson of Mount Vernon, as the Royal defense has at times been a little stifling to the Marauders. Leads to another easy basket in transition off of the steal. And the Royals have now posted their biggest lead of the contest. They lead 19-9 with exactly 2 minutes remaining in this first half. You are watching Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you at Hamilton Southeastern High School. Junior varsity game between the Southeastern Royals and the Mount Vernon Marauders. And currently it's Coach Calvin Bembry's Royals up by 10, 19-9 with 2 minutes remaining in this first half of play. Varsity game to follow at around 7:30 here on Audio Sports Online. Make sure you stay around for all the action all weekend long. As got the games tonight and a full day of basketball tomorrow right here on ASO. Out of the timeout on the court for the Royals will be Tyler Janney, Mason Hankins, Grant Leach, Chris Ford, and Brendan Burns. And it will be Seth Christensen, Michael Thompson, Zach McKinney, Caleb Decker, and this is Thompson bringing it up. As we have a whistle and a foul will be called as the Royals are going to be called for the personal. Brayton Smith is the other Marauder currently on the court. Chris Ford will be called for his first personal, only the 14th foul against Southeastern. Thompson will get the ball into McKinney as they now look to move the basketball around as Ware has it currently for Marauders. Guarded by Mason Hankins. He will leave it off to Smith. Brayton Smith. Then it's going to be stolen by Grant Leach. Grant will leave it off to Burns, and Brendan gets the bucket. Now head to the line. So Burns gets the bucket, and foul will go against Zach McKinney. That's his first. So one for Burns as and he misses the free throw. And we have a whistle as the ball tried to be saved. And it goes out of bounds off of a Royal, so it will belong to Mount Vernon. And they get the basketball in. Mount Vernon has the ball. They trail 21-9 with 1:24 left to go in this first half. Double team on the base near the midcourt stripe. Now the ball is in the hands of Wade, and here comes another double team. He manages to get it into Seth Christensen, who drives the left side of the lane. And finally, a whistle will stop play, and the foul is going to be called on Southeastern. He'll go against Grant Leach, and that'll be his third. It's only the 15th foul, but it is Grant's third. And Seth Christensen ahead to the line to shoot a pair. It's the first of two. Tim Ford now in. He will take over for Grant Leach, so both Tim and Chris Ford now on the floor for Southeastern. Second free throw is no good, and Burns calls down the rebound. 21-10, Southeastern with the lead. 1:08 left to go first half. Mason Hankins leaves it off to Brendan Burns. Back to Tyler Janney. Janney right side. Mason Hankins for three from the wing. No good. Rebound underneath by Janney. He sends it out to Burns. Burns is going to be, this play is going to be whistled dead as they are going to call Hamilton Southeastern for three in the lane. So the 3-second violation gives the ball back to Mount Vernon, trailing by 11 with 53 seconds remaining in this first half. Hayes with the basketball, gives it to Ware. Ware right back to Hayes. And the ball almost stolen by Mason Hankins and now poked away. Taking it and laying it up off the glass and in is Chris Ford. 7 points for Chris Ford. A 13-point lead for Southeastern. Right side, and this one's blocked partially by Tim Ford, but getting the basketball back was Miles Ware, and he makes it. Ford came over, managed to block the shot, but Ware managed to get the basketball and put it back up in it anyway. Under 10 seconds left as Mason drops back. Goes left side to Chris Ford, drives, tries to go baseline. Foul will be called. This one will go against the Marauders' Caleb Decker. Only the 15th foul against Mount Vernon. 3.1 seconds remain in this first half. As triggering the inbounds will be Chris Ford. Ford to Burns. Mason Hankins back to Ford. Three on the way at the buzzer. is no good, and that's the end of the first half. Royals head to the locker room. They lead by 11 as it is halftime in Hamilton Southeastern. Hamilton Southeastern 23, Mount Vernon 12. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you at Hamilton Southeastern JV game halftime, and the Royals lead 23-12 against the Mount Vernon Marauders. You saw a little bit of action here at halftime. It was the Hamilton Southeastern third graders, their travel teams, putting on a little bit of scrimmage, entertaining the fans. Quickly, let's give you our stats for Mount Vernon. They're led by Matt Hayes, 5 points, 4 points for Miles Ware, a bucket for Kyle Forsyth, and Seth Christensen has 1 point on a free throw. Leading all scorers is Hamilton Southeastern's Chris Ford with 7 points, 5 points for Grant Leach, 4 points for Mason Hankins, 3 points for Tyler Janney, and Brendan Burns and Josiah Johnson each have a bucket apiece. As we get ready for second half action here, varsity game to follow at approximately 7:30 here on Audio Sports Online. And then, as I mentioned earlier, a full day of basketball tomorrow for Royals basketball fans. The girls will take the court in the afternoon with the JV game beginning at 1 o'clock. Varsity game at 2:30 as Chris Huppenthal's number 1 ranked Lady Royal basketball team. They will take on the Harrison Raiders in an HCC matchup. And then later on that evening, or tomorrow evening, I should say, Brian Satterfield's club will be back out on the court as they will be traveling to Pendleton Heights. That game will have the JV game at 6 o'clock, varsity game at 7:30. Tomorrow night's boys game will be an audio-only affair. The girls' games will be on video. To begin the second half for Hamilton Southeastern, a little bit of a different lineup. We're going to see Dominique Hall, Max Hankins, Josiah Johnson, Jack Kramer, and Tim Ford. Those are the 5 to begin the second half, and they will immediately look at a 2-3 Marauder zone. And we will get you the starting 5, the 5 on the court currently for Mount Vernon. It is their starting 5. That would be Kyle Forsyth, Matt Harris, Michael Thompson, Miles Ware, and James Stricker. With the basketball, Tim Ford, he drives baseline. His shot, though, too strong. Michael Thompson clears the rebound for the Marauders. Mount Vernon trails 23-12. We are just underway here in the second half of action. Stricker will go right side, get it in the hands of Forsyth. Forsyth leaves it down low. Shot might have been partially blocked by Tim Ford as Matt Hayes had it in the low blocks, but it will go off of a Royal, and the Marauders will have the basketball. Mount Vernon trails by 11. Just underway third quarter as Hayes gives it to Ware. Ware guarded closely by Dominique Hall. And Ware will get the basketball once again. Ware almost loses it, now does lose it. Max Hankins gets it. He'll give it to Dominique. Dominique will lay it up, and Jack Kramer will finish it off. Jack Kramer's first basket, and it's a 25-12 Southeastern lead. Now we're going to have a palming violation called against Kyle Forsyth. So as Forsyth tried to get it into the front court, some good Royals defense caused him to come over the top, and he'll be called for palming. I should say come down from the bottom and bring it over the top. He'll be called for carrying the basketball. Here's Max Hankins on a quick trigger. His shot's no good. Tim Ford comes in and saves it for Southeastern. To Dominique, to Max, back over to Tim. Tim looking down low to Kramer, but he's pushed off the blocks by James Stricker, and now we're going to have a timeout called by Calvin Bembry as the Royals hold a 13-point lead, 25-12, with 4:22 left to go in this third quarter of play. Varsity game will pit the 6th ranked in Class 4A Southeastern Royals versus the 7th ranked in Class 3A Mount Vernon Marauders. Last year, Southeastern with a big, easy win. But Coach Satterfield expected a little bit tougher opponent this time around. Royals have the basketball out of the timeout. Same 5 head to the court. And the same can be said for Coach Kyle Nicholson's Mount Vernon Marauders. Dominique Hall will inbound. He'll throw it to Max Hankins in the backcourt. And Max will bring it in front. They'll swing it around to Dominique, looking over a 2-3 zone. Back to Dominique. To Johnson. And back to Max. Tim Ford with the basketball. Max takes the long-range three, top of the key, a little strong. There's Tim Ford with the rebound and the putback. Tim's first basket of the evening, and it's a 27-12 Southeastern lead. 3:50 remains in this third quarter of action as we just began the second half. Trying to find some of his foresight. He does find Michael Thompson. Thompson from about 12-foot shot is no good, and the rebound's controlled by Southeastern. Left side, this is Dominique. He tries to get it to Jack Kramer. Kramer lost it briefly, gives it to Tim Ford. Ford's three from the corner is no good, and the rebound goes off of a Marauder, and it'll stay at this end in possession of Southeastern. Substitutions for Mount Vernon, as into the lineup will be Caleb Decker and also Zach McKinney. Southeastern substitution as Tim Ford will leave the lineup, and now in is Ty Scholl. 3:19 left to go third quarter. On the inbound, Josiah Johnson from the right elbow hits, and the Royal lead is up to 29-12 with 3:09 left to go third quarter. Decker with the basketball, gives it up top to Stricker. Stricker will go right side to Forsythe. Forsythe, nice entry pass down into the low blocks. And putting up the shot was Caleb Decker. He won't get the bucket, but he's going to earn a trip to the charity stripe. As the foul will go against Dominic Hall. That's his first team foul against the Royals in the second half. And Decker is at the line looking for his first points, and he hits the first of two. One more free throw for Caleb Decker. And he misses the second one, and Ty Scholl has the rebound for Southeastern. Southeastern leads by 16 with 2:55 left to go. Here's a three by Max Hankins, left wing, no good. Jack Kramer with a putback. He won't get the bucket, but he's going to also earn a trip to the free throw line as he'll be fouled. Foul looks like it's going to go against James Stricker. That's his first team foul against the Marauders in the second half. And Kramer is at the line to shoot two. First of two, hit strong off the back iron, no good. Substitutions as coming in now for the Marauders, Brayton Smith. He's going to replace James Stricker. And also Seth Christensen, he is going to take over for Seth McKinney. Meanwhile, for Jack Kramer, one more free throw. That one is good. He now has 3 points. And it's a 17-point Southeastern lead with 2:46 left to go in this third quarter of play. And now is getting the ball into the front court is Kyle Forsythe. We're going to have a whistle against Southeastern. This one's going to go against Max Hankins. That's first against Max. It is the second team foul against Southeastern, so the Marauders will be taking it side out. Get the ball in the hands of Brayton Smith. Smith, right side. This is Ware. Ware moves the ball around and shooting a three from the left corner is Seth Christensen. Shot no good. Loose ball finally controlled by the Royals. Southeastern leads 30-13. 2:22 remains in this third quarter. Shot no good. Ty Scholl has the rebound underneath the basket, and it is no good, but Ty's going to earn a trip to the charity stripe. Foul is going to go against Brayton Smith, his first, and Ty Scholl's at the line. Shoot a pair. First shot no good. Second one on its way. More substitutions for the Marauders as Michael Thompson comes in and Matt Hayes returns. They'll take over for Kyle Forsythe and also for Brayton Smith. One more for Ty. He hits the second of two. That's his first point. 31-13 is our score with 2:15 left to play here in this third quarter. They'll get the ball down low into the hands of Hayes. Back up top into the hands of Christensen, who will lay it off to Ware. Ware, right side. Back over to Christensen. Drives in the lane, lays it up. hits the bottom of the rim, but he's going to go to the charity stripe as the foul is going to be called against Southeastern. It'll go against Josiah Johnson. That's his second, 13th foul against Hamilton Southeastern. And Seth Christian is at the line to shoot a pair. Christensen is now 2 of 3 from the line. That's his second point on the night. Jack Kramer will leave as Tim Ford returns to the lineup for Calvin Bembry's JV Royals. One more by Christensen. This one's no good, but there's Thompson with a rebound, and they will wave off the shot, saying the foul occurred before the shot. But Thompson's going to go to the line as he was pushed from behind. And the foul is going to go against Tim Ford, his first, team foul number 4. On the inbounds, triggering the 3 is Ware. It's no good. Smith gets the rebound for the Marauders. He will give it off again to Ware, and as Ware makes a move, and the whistle will stop play once again as the foul's starting to rack up for the Southeastern Royals. This time it'll go against Max Hankins, his second, team foul number 5. A minute 45 left to go in this third quarter, 31-14, the Royals with the lead. And Mount Vernon finally gets it in. They do so to Miles Ware. Ware right side to Christensen, back over to Ware. Ware looking at Thompson in the low blocks, but they'll move it around to Brayton Smith, guarded by Ty Scholl. And the ball almost stolen by Tim Ford, but retrieving it is Seth Christensen for Mount Vernon. Christensen will just drive the lane, and we'll see if they count the basket. They do count the basket. So Seth Christensen, give him 2 points and send him to the line. The foul will go against Max Hankins. That's his third, the 16th foul against the Royals. So Christensen hits and completes the 3-point play. Mason Hankins now back in for Hamilton Southeastern. He'll take over for Max Hankins, and Grant Leach, who has 3 personal fouls, comes in. He will take over for Ty Scholl. 31-17, Southeastern with the lead and the basketball here in this third quarter. Mason left side to Grant Leach. Back to Mason, over to Dominique Hall. As the Royals move it around the perimeter, Grant Leach, nice little runner, but he can't get it to fall. Loose ball fought for, and they'll say it went off of a black-clad Marauder, and the Royals will retain possession. A minute 9 left to go, third quarter. 31-17, Southeastern with the lead. Inbound to Johnson. Over to Mason. Mason to Dominique. Down to Grant. Grant looks at Tim Ford in the low blocks. And instead we'll give it to Dominique Hall. Hall to Tim Ford. Ford dribbles. Leaves it to Dominique. Dominique over to Mason. Mason over to Leach. Leach's 3 is up, and it is good. Grant with his second 3-point basket. He now has 8 points, and the lead's 34-17 with 40 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Seth Christensen. Michael Thompson, as they look to move the ball around Miles Ware, currently working on Mason Hankins, steps out to Brayton Smith. Smith doesn't want to shoot it, instead gives it back to Ware. 24 seconds, and the ball's poked away by Tim Ford. Tim will chase it down, tries to throw it down with a right hand. He can't get it, but Grant Leach is there for the loose ball, and as Tim Ford gets the entry pass, he's going to be tied up, and the possession arrow will favor the Mount Vernon Marauders. So Mount Vernon has the basketball, trailing by 17 with 13.1 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Miles Ware dribbling the basketball. 5 seconds left, finds Brayton Smith. Smith drives, baseline, gets the bucket and draws the foul. Brayton Smith with his first basket of the night. It'll be the 17th foul against Southeastern. And the foul is going to be called against Tim Ford. That's his second. 3.1 seconds remain in this third quarter, and Brayton Smith looking to complete the 3-point play, which he does. 34-20. As Mason Hankins from half court puts it up, goes off the backboard. And that's going to do it for the third quarter here at Hamilton Southeastern. Royals led by 11 at the break. And going into the fourth quarter, they lead by 14. Our score, Hamilton Southeastern 34, Mount Vernon 20. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back with you from Hamilton Southeastern High School as we get ready to set for fourth quarter action in the junior varsity game. Currently, Coach Calvin Bembury's JV Royals leading Kyle Nicholson's JV Marauders by the score of 34-20. The Royals outscoring Mount Vernon 11-8 in that third quarter. Grant Leach now with 8 points in this basketball game to lead all scores. And Hamilton Southeastern will have the basketball to begin this fourth and final quarter, as it will be Dominique Hall, Max Hankins, Jack Kramer, Ty Scholl, and Josiah Johnson, the 5 Royals that take the court in this fourth quarter. Here's Josiah Johnson, goes halfway down, comes back out, but there with a putback is Ty Scholl. Ty Scholl putback puts the lead to 16 for Southeastern as the Marauders turn the ball over as they throw it right into the hands of Ty Scholl. Down low, here's Johnson, baseline, finds Ty Scholl, and two quick baskets for Hamilton Southeastern to begin this fourth quarter, has them with their biggest lead of the night at 18 points. 38-20, Royals with the lead. Matt Hayes with the basketball, we'll give to Kyle Forsythe. Miles Ware, James Stricker, and Zach McKinney are the 5 on the court for the Marauders, and it's McKinney's jumper that rims out as the Royals push it back into the front court. Max will give it to Dominique Hall. Hall back to Max. Max thought about the 3 as they look over this 2-3 zone. Max will drop it off to Dominique Hall, gets around a Kramer screen, 3 ball too strong. Kramer there underneath, and as he gets it, he's going to be dragged down from behind by Kyle Forsythe. And now they're going to change it and say it's not a foul. They're going to call it traveling, as the official making the call for traveling did not see Forsythe drag Ty down from behind. As it is, it's still an 18-point lead, and this time a foul is going to go against Southeastern. With the Royals already over the limit, that means the Marauders will be shooting 1-1. Dominique Hall gets called for his second personal foul, and Miles Ware is at the line to shoot the 1-1. Ware 4 points in this contest, make it 5 as he hits the first, and will get the bonus. Miles Ware with one more free throw. He misses the back end of the 1-1 as Kramer clears the rebound. 38-21 Royals with the lead, 4:19, and expecting more of a back cut from Josiah Johnson. The ball goes out of bounds on the pass, and the Marauders have the basketball. .412 left to go, fourth quarter, and the steal this time by Ty Scholl. Gives it to Max Hankins. Max takes it, lays it up off the glass. It's no good. Whistle underneath, and we're going to have a foul, and they're going to call it against Mount Vernon. Foul will go against Zach McKinney. That's his second. 13 foul against Mount Vernon in the second half. Royals already have 8. As Kyle Forsyth will leave and Seth Christensen's back in. Max Hankins for 3, left wing, hits off front of the rim, tapped out, but into the hands of Christensen. Christensen followed by Hall, and Seth Christensen's able to keep Hall off to the side and finish the layup. For Christensen, he now has 7 points. 38-23 is our score with the Royals out in front. 3:38 left to go, fourth quarter. Johnson thought about the 3 from the top of the key and then thought better of it. Scholl finds Jack Kramer coming down the lane. Shot's no good. Jack gets the rebound, and he ends up on the deck as the foul will go against Mount Vernon. Zach McKinney will be called for his 3rd personal foul. Tim Ford returns to the lineup. He will replace Dominique Hall. And Zach McKinney and Matt Hayes leave as James Stryker and Caleb Decker return for Mount Vernon. Tim Ford finds Max Hankins on the inbound. Back to Ford, over to Hankins. 3:25 left to go, fourth quarter. Royals up 38-23. Ford gets trapped on the sideline, and we are going to have a timeout called by Royals JV coach Calvin Bembry as he saw his player in a little bit of trouble on the sideline with a double team. And the Royals will have the basketball out of the timeout. They lead 38-23 with 3:19 left to go in this fourth quarter. You're listening to Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Varsity game to follow at around 7:30 on ASO. And then a full day of Royals basketball tomorrow. The girls in the afternoon, the boys in the evening, all courtesy of ASO. Brian Scott back with you from Hamilton Southeastern High School. We are in the junior varsity game, and the JV Royals lead the Mount Vernon Marauders by the score of 38-23. 8 points so far for Grant Leach. 5 points for Ty Scholl, all in this second half. And Chris Ford has 7. He got all 7 of those in the second quarter. Out of the timeout for your Royals, they will have Max Hankins, Josiah Johnson, Jack Kramer, Ty Scholl, and it will be Tim Ford inbounding in front of the Royals bench. And Tim throws it into the backcourt where Johnson was trying to retrieve it. Seth Christensen raced him back there, but eventually it goes off of Christensen, and the Royals will have the basketball. Dominique Hall comes in, and he's going to take over for Josiah Johnson. This time a little bit of pressure being applied by Mount Vernon. Max Hankins, though, will get the inbound triggered from Dominique Hall. Max goes left side to Tim Ford, looking at Jack Kramer trying to establish in the low post. Here is Max with a little runner right in front of the free throw line, and Max gets his first points of the game, and it's 40-23 Southeastern. Under 3 minutes left to go, fourth quarter. Ware with the basketball. Gets around a screen. Dribble stop. Lays it off to Stricker, and Stricker can't complete the layup. And then as Jack Kramer got the rebound, Stricker will foul him. It'll be the 15th foul against the Marauders. And for James Stricker, that'll be his second personal foul. A 17-point lead for the Royals. 2:43 left to go, fourth quarter. Tim Ford with the basketball. Dribbles, pops it out to Max Hankins. Max finds Ty Scholl, and Scholl will give it up to Tim Ford. Ford, around a Kramer screen, cut off on the baseline by a good move by James Stricker, and then he'll step back, and he will hit the three. Gets the kind roll, and Tim Ford now has 5 points as he hits the three. And the lead's 20 points for Southeastern, 43-23. Here's a steal by Ford, and this time he will lay it up over the rim. Tim's tried a couple of those flushes, hasn't quite been high enough. This time he'll lay it up over the rim, take the easy bucket, and push the lead to 22. Stricker with a basketball right side to Weyer, up top to Decker. Decker to Stricker, over to Michael Thompson. Thompson's three no good. Rebound by Dominique Hall of the Royals. Dominique in the front court. 1:33 left to go fourth quarter. This is Tim Ford with the basketball. A 22-point Southeastern lead. Tim drives baseline, and then we will have a foul called against Southeastern's Ty Scholl on an illegal screen. No free throws, as it was an offensive foul, and the ball will simply go back to Mount Vernon as Ty Scholl will leave. And Josiah Johnson returns for the Royals. 1:17 left, 45-23, that's our score. James Stricker with the entry pass gives it up. This is Christensen underneath, and he forces it up and gets the bucket. 9 points for Christensen. But the lead is 20 with a minute left. Dominique Hall from 14 feet, a little strong. Johnson fights for the loose ball, but it's finally corralled by Kyle Forsythe of Mount Vernon. His entry pass into the front court stolen. Here is Max Hankins. He will throw it up, and the basket will not count, as they are going to call Max for the traveling violation. 42.9 seconds remain, 45-25. That's our score. The Marauders have the basketball. Dribbling and taking it is Seth Christensen. Tried to carry it on his hip a little bit, but he's going to be bailed out as the foul will go against Hamilton Southeastern. Dominique Hall is going to be called for his third personal foul. It's the 10th team foul, double bonus in effect. And Seth Christensen is at the line for two. He has 9 points, make it 10 now as he hits the first of two. Ty Scholl back in. Jack Kramer will take a seat. Kramer with 3 points. All of them in the third quarter. 45-26, 30.1 seconds remain. And the second free throw is no good. Skying for it is Tim Ford. And he will give it to Max Hankins left side. And we're going to have an offensive foul as they're going to call the foul against. The call against Josiah Johnson. Thought they were going to call him Ty Scholl, but it goes against Johnson. His third. As the final 16 seconds tick off here in the JV game. They feed it down low to Stricker. His shot no good. Loose ball comes back to him. And Stricker, in trying to tap it out to a teammate, steps on the baseline with 7 seconds remaining. As the official, well, actually, they're going to give the ball back to Mount Vernon, so they'll get the ball to Stricker on the inbound. No good. Johnson with a rebound gives it to Max Hankins. And that will end this junior varsity game with the Hamilton Southeastern Royals defeating the Mount Vernon Marauders 45-26. Be back in just a couple of minutes with final stats. This is Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online. Brian Scott back at Hamilton Southeastern. In the junior varsity game, the Royals come out the victors. They defeat the Mount Vernon JV Marauders by the score of 45-26. Final stats for the Marauders, they were led by Seth Christensen and with his 10 points, 5 points for Miles Ware. 5 points also for Matt Hayes, 3 points for James Stricker, and 2 points for Kyle Forsythe. For Hamilton Southeastern, Grant Leach had 8 points, 7 points for Tim Ford, 5 points for Ty Scholl, 4 points for Josiah Johnson, 3 points each for Tyler Janney and Jack Kramer, and 2 points for Max Hankins and Brendan Burns. And once again, your final score, the Royals defeat the Marauders by 29, 45-26. Varsity game is set to follow. That game will begin at around 7:30. Don't you dare go away. You're watching Royals basketball on Audio Sports Online.